Most men are out here chasing, proving, trying to convince a woman to choose them. They shape, shift, overextend, constantly perform. And still, she doesn't choose them. Why? Because a woman can feel when a man is moving from lack, when he's chasing validation instead of living his truth. That's not attractive. That's pressure. And no matter how many compliments you drop or how hard you try to show her your worth, it never hits the same when you don't believe you're enough in silence. A man who truly knows his value doesn't chase, he attracts. He doesn't argue for his place in her life. He becomes the kind of man who is so focused, so grounded, and so deeply aligned with purpose that he naturally becomes a magnet. That's the shift. That's the energy women are drawn to. It's not about trying harder. It's about becoming more. When a woman sees a man who is at peace with himself, not moved by the crowd, not thirsty for attention, and not busy comparing himself to every other guy in her DMs, she pauses, because that energy is rare. That energy tells her, I don't need you to choose me. I already chose me. But I'm open to seeing if you can meet me where I am. And that right there is where everything changes. You see, men who chase are constantly asking questions in their heads. Am I good enough for her? What if she finds someone better? What should I say to impress her? But the man who attracts isn't asking those questions. His mind is different. He's asking, is she aligned with my lifestyle and values? Is she someone who adds to my peace, not pulls from it? Is she ready for the level I'm building on? Do you see the difference? One man is trying to be picked. The other man is doing the picking. That's power. That's presence. And that's what she remembers when she has options. Every woman has met a man who was eager. She's seen the flattery, the pressure, the desperation masked as effort. But when she meets the man who doesn't need to be seen, who is already seen by himself, her energy shifts. She starts wondering, who is he when he's not looking at me? What's driving him? Why does it feel so peaceful around him? That curiosity, that respect, that subtle awe. You don't get that by chasing. You earn it by becoming, by working on your vision, your body, your discipline, your lifestyle. You create that energy by putting in the work when no one's clapping, when no one's watching. Let me tell you something a lot of men need to hear. If you have to try that hard to be chosen, you're not being chosen for who you are. You're being selected based on the performance you're putting on. And that is not sustainable. Sooner or later, she'll feel it's not real. Sooner or later, you'll feel drained trying to be someone you think she wants instead of being who you truly are. The man who attracts doesn't show up pretending. He's not trying to tick boxes. He just is. He walks in truth. He sets standards. He doesn't let a beautiful face blind him to red flags. He's aware of her presence, but he's not overwhelmed by it. That balance of desire without desperation, interest without attachment, is what makes a woman lean in. Because she feels like she's being invited into something rare. She doesn't feel like she's being hunted. She feels like she's being seen. And more importantly, she sees you, the real you, the one who's not desperate for love because he's already living from a place of wholeness. Here's the truth: a woman will always choose the man who makes her feel something different. Not because he tries harder, but because his energy is different. He's calm. He's clear. He's solid. He has nothing to prove, but everything to offer. So if you're out here wondering how to stand out in a world where she has options, the answer isn't louder gestures or smarter lines. It's deeper roots. Build yourself, ground yourself, and stop trying to earn her with effort you haven't even given to your own evolution. The minute you stop chasing and start becoming, she'll feel it. And when she does, she won't just look, she'll see you. And if she doesn't, that's fine too. Because a man who truly attracts never fears who walks away. He knows he'll always be enough for the right one. Only the man who chooses himself first becomes the one she chooses last. Most men think the key to winning her attention is performing harder. Bigger dates, louder compliments, flashier messages, more effort. They believe that the more impressive they appear in the moment, the more they stand out from the crowd. But here's the truth that a lot of men learn too late. Women aren't looking for the man who can impress them for a moment. They're drawn to the one who's consistent even when no one's watching. See, in the early stages of dating or attraction, everybody's on their best behavior. Everyone's saying the right things. Everyone's posting the right content, putting their best face forward. But consistency. That's what shows her who you really are over time. And it's not the loudest man who wins her respect. It's the man who keeps showing up with intention without needing applause. You have to understand something deeply here. Performance fades. Sooner or later, the mask gets heavy. The sweet lines get repetitive. The gestures feel forced. And she can tell when a man is doing something just to get a reaction versus when he's doing something because it's who he actually is. A woman might smile at your efforts in the beginning, but she won't stay for a show. She stays when she feels like your energy is stable, your words match your actions. And your presence doesn't vanish when attention shifts. She's not choosing the man who texts her good morning once in a while and then disappears for 3 days. She's not choosing the one who makes a grand gesture and then falls short in everyday communication. She's choosing the man who shows her, through his calm, steady presence, that he doesn't just want to win her, he wants to build with her. And don't confuse consistency with over effort. This isn't about texting her paragraphs or checking in every 5 minutes. This is about emotional steadiness. It's about showing up as the same version of yourself, whether she's giving you attention or testing your energy. Because women will test, not out of manipulation, but out of instinct. They want to feel who you are underneath the surface. They want to know, can you handle silence without panicking? Can you remain composed when things slow down? Can you stay clear on your value even when you're not being constantly affirmed? Most men crumble in that space. The moment they feel her interest dip, or when she doesn't respond fast enough, they start spiraling. They send more texts. They try harder. They get frustrated. And in doing so, they reveal the truth they were performing, not being, not grounded, not solid, just temporarily confident. But the man who is consistent isn't shaken by those moments. He understands that relationships, especially in their early stages, are not built in highlights. They're built in small daily decisions. He knows that consistency doesn't mean being perfect. It means being present, being intentional, being accountable. And listen, when she has options, she's not just comparing looks. She's not counting muscles or bank balances the way you might think. She's asking, who makes me feel safe in the quiet? Who makes me feel seen when I'm not performing? Who's still kind when I'm distant? Who doesn't need to be in control to be respected? These are deeper questions. And only the man who lives consistently, not just impressively, will meet those marks. You've got to ask yourself, are you trying to be her moment? Or are you working on becoming her standard? Because her standard is going to be the man who doesn't rise and fall based on mood or attention. He doesn't have to hype himself up every day to be decent. He just is. That's who he's chosen to be. And that choice becomes his strength. Let's be honest, consistency isn't sexy at first. It doesn't get the dopamine rush that a surprise date or a flirty text gives. But over time, it becomes the most attractive trait you can offer. Because consistency is how you build trust. Trust is how you build connection. And connection is how you become irreplaceable. Most men skip this part. They want the shortcut. They want to be picked fast. But if you're always trying to get chosen quickly, you'll end up in shallow relationships that never see your depth. You'll burn yourself out trying to be everything and end up being remembered for nothing. When you shift from performing to showing up consistently, you'll feel the difference in yourself too. Your nervous energy calms down. You don't need constant reassurance. You stop comparing yourself to other men because you found your rhythm. You stop thinking, what if she finds someone better? And you start living like, if I'm not what she's looking for, that's okay because I'm proud of who I am becoming. And that energy, it speaks for you. It makes her lean in. It makes her pay attention to the little things, the way you follow through, the way you don't flinch when things slow down, the way you make her feel secure without smothering her. So stop asking what you can do to impress her. Start asking, who am I consistently becoming? Because when your character, your habits, and your energy are aligned, she won't just notice you, she'll trust you. and that kind of trust. It makes her choose you even in a world full of options. She won't choose the man who shines the brightest once. She'll choose the one who never stops showing up when it matters. Most men think women fall for the loud, flashy guy who knows how to talk smooth and walk with swag. But the truth is, when a woman is ready for something real, something deep, she doesn't fall in love with noise. She falls in love with how you make her feel. And one of the most powerful things you can ever do is make her feel seen, heard, and understood in a world where she's constantly being judged, compared, and underestimated. You see, there's a difference between hearing someone and listening to them. Most people don't listen to understand. They listen to respond. They wait for their turn to speak, to impress, to offer solutions. But when a woman shares something, whether it's light or heavy, what she's really testing is your ability to hold space. Can you be present without rushing to fix? Can you sit in her story without minimizing her pain or interrupting her thought? Can you stay with her in the quiet moments without making it about yourself? Because that's rare, that's sacred. And when a man does that, it disarms her in the most beautiful way. She starts letting her guard down, not because you forced her to, but because your energy told her, you're safe here. You don't have to perform. You don't have to be perfect. Just be real. And that's when a woman truly begins to fall. We live in a world where people are constantly trying to prove themselves. But what she really wants isn't a man who proves his worth every second. It's a man who can see her worth even when she can't. Especially when she can't. And this is where emotional intelligence separates the boys from the men. Because it takes real awareness, real presence, and real empathy to notice the little thing. It's not always about grand gestures. Sometimes it's in the way you remember something she said weeks ago. The way you notice when her energy shifts. The way you check in, not because you want something, but because you care. The way you see her, even when she's quiet. That kind of connection can't be faked. It can't be rushed, and it sure as hell can't be replaced. And let me be clear, this isn't about being soft or overly sensitive. This is about emotional maturity. This is about knowing that power doesn't always come from dominating a room. It comes from understanding people deeply, especially the person you're building with. Because when a woman feels deeply understood, her walls start to crumble. And when those walls come down, love has room to rise. Think about it. How many people in her life actually take the time to understand her, not just admire her? How many men ask how her day was and mean it? How many pay attention when she's not dressed up, not smiling, not performing? Very few. So if you want to stand out, don't just give her flowers. Water her roots. Don't just tell her she's beautiful. Remind her she's powerful, even when she doubts herself. That's where the magic lies. And the thing is, it's not about having the perfect words. It's about having honest ones. When you're real with her, when you share your thoughts without pretending, when you ask her how she's really doing and wait for the full answer, she feels it. She feels the difference between someone who's interested in her body and someone who's invested in her soul. And that emotional safety you create, that's what keeps you on her mind, even when she's surrounded by options. A lot of guys lose the girl not because they weren't good enough, but because they never took the time to understand her. They moved too fast, tried too hard, or just never paid attention. And in doing so, they made her feel like just another pretty face, not a full human being with layers, dreams, insecurities, and brilliance. But when you do take the time to understand her, when you really connect without trying to control, she feels the difference. She begins to see that you're not here to possess her, but to partner with her. Not here to compete with her, but to support her. And that's when her loyalty starts to form, not out of obligation, but out of deep emotional resonance. So no, it's not about having the most money, the best lines, or the loudest presence. It's about learning her language, understanding how she expresses love, how she receives care, how she navigates the world. It's about being curious. Not just about what she likes on the surface, but who she is underneath it all. That kind of curiosity builds a foundation that no one else can compete with. Because at the end of the day, women may be impressed by what you have, but they fall in love with how you understand them. And when she feels truly understood, you won't just be another option, you'll be the exception. Make her feel deeply understood, and you'll never have to convince her to stay. Most men underestimate the quiet power of stability. In a world where so many chase the next thrill, constantly shifting between emotions, jobs, dreams, and people, being a stable man doesn't seem all that flashy. It's not the headline-grabbing trait. But let me tell you something that's absolute truth. When a woman has options, what she's really drawn to is the man who brings peace, not chaos. The man who becomes her safe space, not another emotional roller coaster. See, chaos is familiar to a lot of people. Drama, uncertainty, high highs and low lows. It's addictive even when it's toxic. But peace, that's rare. That's healing. That's grounding. And a man who knows how to protect a woman's peace stands out more than any smooth talker ever will. It's not about having a calm voice or never getting angry. It's about how you move, how you respond when things get tough, how you lead with steadiness when emotions are high. Stability shows in your presence. It's in the way you handle her with care even when she's difficult. It's in how you don't let your ego run wild when things don't go your way. It's in how you stand in the middle of tension, not to argue, not to attack, but to bring clarity and calm. That right there, that's masculine energy at its finest, not dominance, not control, but grounded protective strength. A woman with options has seen all kinds of men. She's seen the ones who come on strong and fade just as fast. She's met the ones who say all the right things but can't back them up with actions. She's been complimented, admired, and pursued. But the one who makes her feel safe to be herself, to rest, to not have to be strong all the time, that's the man she remembers. That's the man she chooses. Because it's not just about how you make her feel when things are easy. It's about how you handle the pressure. Do you turn cold and shut down? Do you lash out when your pride gets bruised? Or do you breathe through it, stay connected, and keep your energy steady even when hers is off balance? That's where the emotional difference is made, because a woman's peace is sacred. And if she feels like being around you costs her that peace, she'll subconsciously start pulling away, even if she still likes you, even if she still wants you. But when she feels like you're her anchor in the storm, her shelter when the world feels heavy, that's when her walls begin to drop. That's when she starts seeing you not just as a man she likes, but as a man she trusts. And trust, that's everything. That's the foundation of real connection, and it's built moment by moment. Through how you speak to her, how you handle disagreements, how you show her that you're emotionally secure, that you're not going to explode, disappear, or fall apart when things get real. It's also about being dependable, following through on your word, showing up not just when it's convenient, but when it matters. When she sees that you're consistent, not just in the beginning when it's fun, but over time when things get challenging, that's when she starts to relax into the connection. That's when she chooses you, even with other options, because peace is the rarest kind of intimacy. And look, this doesn't mean you have to be emotionless. It doesn't mean you have to swallow your truth or walk on eggshells. It means you lead with emotional intelligence. You learn how to express yourself without creating drama. You learn how to listen without always needing to fix. You learn how to be a safe space, not because you're passive, but because you've mastered your own energy. That's self-mastery. It's magnetic. It shows that you're not at the mercy of your emotions, that you don't need chaos to feel alive, that you don't get shaken by every little thing. And when a woman feels that grounded presence, she starts to lean in. She starts to open up, because you're not just another man in her life. You're a man who creates space for her to breathe, to feel, to be. And that's something very few men offer. They offer excitement, even affection, but not peace, not emotional safety, not stillness in the storm. But if you can give her that without needing to fix her, change her, or perform for her, you become unforgettable, because you've given her something she didn't even know she was craving. So don't underestimate the power of being that man, the one who's stable in his own identity, the one who knows how to regulate his emotions, the one who doesn't feed drama but diffuses it, The one who knows that real power is quiet, it's steady, it's safe, and it doesn't need to be loud to be felt. She may have options, but those options won't matter when she sees that you are the place where her heart can rest. When you walk into a room, what energy do you bring with you? Most men think attraction is just about how you look, how much money you make, or the lines you say to a woman. But the truth is, it's much deeper than that. A woman may notice your appearance first, but what really makes her choose you, especially when she has plenty of options, is the kind of energy you carry, that presence, that silent strength, that quiet confidence that doesn't have to announce itself because it's just there. You don't have to be the loudest voice or the flashiest guy in the room. You just need to own who you are. That means showing up authentically and being grounded in your own identity. And you can't fake that. It's something that gets built in private. It's built in the way you talk to yourself when no one's around, in how you handle setbacks, in how you choose discipline over excuses, integrity over convenience. That inner work, when done consistently, creates a presence that speaks louder than words ever could, because energy doesn't lie. A woman can sense when a man is putting on a performance. She can feel when he's insecure and trying to mask it with bravado. But she can also feel when a man is at peace with himself. When he walks in a room with quiet confidence, not needing attention, not chasing approval. That kind of energy is rare. And when a woman comes across it, she pays attention, even if she doesn't say a word. A lot of men think they need to do more to get a woman's attention. More compliments, more effort, more pursuit. But the truth is, sometimes it's about doing less and being more. Being more aware, more aligned, more intentional. A man who knows who he is doesn't need to prove it every 5 seconds. He lets his presence do the talking. He doesn't beg for validation. He already gave it to himself. And here's the thing: women are emotional, not irrational, emotional, which means they feel energy before they analyze logic. They feel your confidence before they hear your words. They feel your calmness, your certainty, your respect, or the lack of it. That's why it's not just what you say that matters. It's the space you create with your energy. When a woman is around you, does she feel safe? Does she feel inspired? Does she feel seen? If she does, that connection begins to grow in ways that no surface level charm ever could. Your energy is what makes her want to stay. And this isn't something you have to try to create in front of her. This is something that starts with how you treat yourself. Do you respect your own time? Do you keep your word to you? Do you walk in integrity when no one's watching? Because that self-respect becomes the confidence that radiates from you. It's not a show, it's who you are. And it draws people in without effort. Also, your energy sets the tone for the kind of relationship you'll attract. If your energy is anxious, chaotic, needy, you'll pull in people who reflect that. But if your energy is centered, consistent, and strong, you'll attract women who are ready for that same level of depth and intention. You teach people how to treat you by how you carry yourself. And the way you carry yourself starts with what you believe about yourself. If you believe you're valuable, you won't chase, you'll attract. If you believe you're enough, you won't compete, you'll stand firm. And if you believe that your presence is powerful, you'll stop trying to impress and start focusing on expressing your truth, your purpose, your strength. That's what makes a woman lean in, not because you convinced her, but because she felt you. Let me make this clear. It's not about perfection. It's about progress. It's about having a direction in life, a mission that pulls you forward, because there's nothing more magnetic than a man who knows where he's going, a man who has vision, a man who's not waiting for someone to give him purpose, but who walks with purpose every single day. That kind of man doesn't need to ask for attention. His energy demands it. And when a woman feels that, when she sees a man who doesn't just take up space but owns his space, she feels safe to let her guard down. Not because he told her she could, but because she could feel that he wouldn't drop the ball. That's the kind of presence that separates you from every other guy she's met. That's the kind of energy that makes her choose you. Not once, but over and over again. So don't worry so much about being liked. Focus on being aligned. Don't chase validation. Build your value from within. Don't try to impress. Learn to express your truth with confidence and humility. Because when your energy is rooted in self-respect, discipline, and authenticity, she won't just see you, she'll feel you. And she'll choose you, not because you demanded it, but because you gave her no reason to doubt it.